Let us try to understand some of the basic concept about the function or the methods in the Dart programming language. So for that, I have already added one function folder over here directory, and inside that one I have added a basic.dart and also have added a main function over here. If you have been following along, you are already familiar with this main, and this is a main function, and that has a return type of the void. I'll just create a void function over here and void and just say a print name. That will basically just print us the name for us. So I'll just say my name is day one, and that's it. So let us try to understand. So the void basically means it is returning nothing. And if you are coming from other Java or any other programming language where you are basically familiar with the void, basically it means that it doesn't return anything. So this function print name, the function name, right, doesn't return anything. So which means that it's not going to return us. You are just going to do all of the logic inside this function, and it's not going to return any value. And this is called the function body. So from this curly brace inside, we are writing our function, and inside this we have this is the function body, and this is a function name, and this is a return type. So if I want to go and call this function from somewhere else, like inside this main function, I can call it, right? And this is basically a function, right? The global function that we can call is, I can call it from here, and I can just call it as a print name function. So I can just call this function from here. And now if I run this one, just go and run this one, will print as a my name is day one. And let us create another function over here that will just return us the string type, and I'll just say get a name, and that should return us the name, right? So string and the get name, and here we will try to return the string of, let's say, my name is day one. So here you can see the function name is of the get name and the return type is of the string. So when we say the return type is string, so we must return a string. So if you try to return here something like 10, which is of integer type, you will get an error because it says it is a type of int and cannot return with the function get name, because the return type of this function is a string. So that you have to take a note. And similarly, if you say that the return type is of boolean, and I'll just say each, let's say each is what we can say is let's say is each car or something. We can just give a name, and you can just return from here false, right? So this is a boolean, and if you try to return something like 10, it will give an error. So this is a return type that we are going to learn. So we learn about the return type, which is void, basically means it doesn't return anything. And other than that, if you want to return the vigate, or if you want to return other data type like list, or you can return a string, boolean, integer, any other data type, or any object that you want to return, you can return from a function. And then if you want to call it, we can just call it from here. So I can just get name over here, and then I can just go and run that, and that will again go and print out for the same thing. And if you see that it's just printing a my name is day one, and the second one get name is not printed out. Why? Because it has a return type, right? So what we have to do is we have to get a var, and I just say a name, and which is equals to get name. So now this value will hold this particular return type from here, and then we can just go and print out the object that we have as a name over here. Now we will just go and print out or run again. So we'll get the two print out over here. So we have a two my name is day one. I can just keep as Richard Richard day one, and that will print us a two value first. So my name is Dewan, and another one is of my name is Richard Dewan. So this is the simple way, that the basic concept about the function or the methods that we need to learn. And also that another thing that we can take a look is of the nested function. So inside this function we can have another function. All right, so let's say we have a main function, and inside this I can create the another function of void which doesn't return anything, and I can just say print age, and that will just go and print out the age for us, like age, and I can just give a string interpolation and then just call that one. Sorry for that one, we don't have any variable, so I just can print out directly a 40. I thought it's just a variable. So sorry for the confusion. And then if I can run this one, it's not going to print out the age because we haven't called this function. So we have a function, but we are not calling that function. So if you have a function, but if you are not calling it, or if you are not executing that function, that it doesn't make any sense, right? So we need to call this function, and I just can call a print age, right? So print age, print age. So it should not be here, sorry, because we have created a function here and we cannot call it from there. So it should be below the function, right? Because above that it's not going to be available for us because the function is below and we are accessing it above that particular function. So I need to call it from below this function, so where I can have access the print age function. So let's go and run it, and you see we get a so the basic difference about the nested function and the global function, or the main function that we have outside of this the main function over here, is that this function can be called from the another function, right? So you have a main, and if you have another like let's say if you create another class over here or another file over here, like let's say test dot, and if I want to call that particular function, let's say get a name, and I need to go and create a main function first of all, and inside this I can go and call the get the name function that is coming from the base dot, and I can call it. This basically means that is like a global function, you can call it from inside your other file over there. But what we have over here is we have a print age, right? So if I go over here, if I want to call that particular function, that print age, and I'm not able to get that particular function, right? So even if I want to call this from here, like let's say a print name, and if I want to even go and get the age from there, it's not available for us. So that is the difference between the function, the main or the global function, as well as the nested function. So this nested function is only available for us within the function that we have declared. So if I have this function over here, and inside this function I have another nested function to print age, and if I want to access from this main function, it is not available for us. So that is the basic difference that we have with the nested function, and you should know it.